Hey guys, we're here with Andrew who finished day 2 at YCS Niagara with pure Fire King, no Snake Eye. What's the thought process on that and what are your thoughts before that?
Yeah, so we ended up X2-1, so we got 48th after Swiss, so it wasn't too bad. The thought process behind pure was everyone is on Fuvaros. I see that card so much. I think the entire tournament I gave one draw Fuvaros because he changed it to original. Otherwise, as soon as I get Fuvaros, I pass the turn. So it barely ever matters. But yeah, so most of the time, like, you just play around Fuvaros a lot. You have a little bit of a decent game plan to Shifter, which I'll show soon with like Fucho and stuff. But yeah, I'm usually a Memento player, but I just got Shifter one too many times. So,
All right, well,
so I want to switch it over.
Then.
All right, cool. So this is gonna be, you'll see this in the Snake Eye variant too. This card is insane. It's just another copy of Island, but in monster form, obviously. So this card, you know, it's on normal. You can destroy a fire and add a fire, and it becomes that level. So this facilitates a lot of the OTKs and some of the XYZ plays. You basically want to see this card in every hand. So it's your main starter and the best card from Rhoda for this deck. Next is the boy, Onyx. This card is, like, honestly, for the pure deck, on the same level as Onyx. This card is crazy. It facilitates so much for the deck, because, like, I'm playing additional search targets, like a couple Skyburns, right? So this will add every single turn, adds itself back, gives you targets for Kieran, all this sort of stuff, and it allows you to play around Shifter with a line you'll see in a bit. But yeah, so 3 Onyx for sure. Always love to see that card. And then, obviously, yeah, this card is insane. Kieran, like, opening God combo of, like, Kieran Oconyx, it's, like, so hard to interact with a lot of the time, unless you basically just Ash the Oconyx. But it just allows you to play through so many boards. It allows you to play on your opponent's turn after you get, like, Fuvaros or Droll, or sometimes even Shifter, depending on when they use it. You can play around that with Kieran. And, like, I'm on a thicker Fire King package, obviously, because it's pure. So this card has so many more targets to pop and so many more things to summon back, right? So it's really strong. And this is more like the standard stuff. I'm on 2 Garunics. Yesterday I got my Garunix crowed, which was a little unfortunate. But basically, like, the theory behind this card, it's kind of like Gazelle in a way, where if you're going second into a board, you normal a monster, you get hand trapped. If you have this in hand, you can just go battle and crash, and then just do everything and damage it. And it's so hard to deal with this card after you crash with it. It's such a good breaker, and you want to see it in a lot of hands, because when you have Oconyx, you know, put this in grave, add something, Kieran pop, like, you want to draw this card. And also you want to have a backup in case it gets banished, because it kind of is like your entire deck. So, yeah, that's like the main cards you see in a lot. We also have, for like some of the side characters here, we have Arvada. So this guy's insane, obviously. I always call him the Spray Red. But he's really nice. I only play one of this deck. I found when I decided to play the Wanted engine, I was bricking a lot on Arvada. Like it's a good normal if you have, like, exactly Island and something else in your hand. Otherwise, it's kind of not that great. It only came up I needed a second, like, once in the event, I think. So I think one was fine. Yeah, he was there when I needed him. Next is his brother in crime, Fire King Rangbali. Basically just Sprite Carrot. There's a line. The reason you play this card is there's a line to set him up with Oconyx on your opponent's turn, where you do Kieran, summon Oconyx pop a Fire King, special Rangbali. And so basically against Tempai, what you do is you interact with their first play, you pop it with Kieran, and then you set up Rangbali to deal with Kaiman. So I played against 4 Tempais, and I did this play each time. So you get rid of their first push, and then you deal with their second push with Rangbali. So it kind of lines up well into that match. So I was on him. He was a side out. Sometimes some matchups I was going second when I didn't think I needed him. This is the GOAT right here. This is the one of the only, like, really old ones that you play. I guess this one too, but he's, like, kind of a brick. But Barong is what allows you to play a lot of the time through Droll and Fuvaros, which I was right about Fuvaros. I was a little wrong about Droll. Did not see Droll much, but he was kind of just a play around it. When you've already went through, like, when you're going second to a board, sometimes too, when you use Barong, you can kind of set up that Kieran on their next turn, because the Fire King, you're always trying to play all the time, like on everyone's turn, and so the delayed search, it's still a search in this deck a lot of the time. So I like to play Barong. He's also a side out, sometimes going second, when I don't think I'm going to be playing a grind game. When I want to just, like, OTK with the deck, I'll sometimes pick up Barong as well. I actually was pretty fortunate not to draw this card too much. It really sucks to draw a lot of the time. The one time I drew it was with Kieran going second. So when at end of main, I went Kieran, pop this, stay on my face, comes back, destroy the board. So that was the only time I drew it, so that's good. But this card, he's nice, he's level 8, so he helps you with your rank 8 plays. So we'll just go on to the rest of the Fire King engine. So Island, Sanctuary, Skyburn. So basically, obviously, yeah, we play this. Sanctuary and the Snake Eye version of this deck, you send this a lot. with like Diabel or with Original, that sort of stuff. In this deck, I want to keep it on field because this protects Island, obviously, but also allows me to go into a rank 8 play in my opponent's turn. And it's part of like those like 7 interaction boards you make off of just one monster. It's like doing this and Sanctuary, popping, all that sort of stuff. So I had 2 and 2 was perfect for me. I was going back and forth between 2 Skyburn and 1. This card was crazy. This card was, every time I drew it, I was loving life. This card was really nice. It just allows you so much like versatile destruction. Like for example, I played against Labyrinth. I went first. I went Ambler Whale, set Skyburn. He went set 4. I just Kieran, pop, Skyburn for 3, pop the last with Kieran, and he had no cards left. Like, so in that matchup, it's crazy. I actually did side the second copy. I was considering it. This card was really good. I've considered Circle, but I feel like a lot of the time I don't have that many issues OTKing. But you could play Circle in this version of the deck too. This was a kind of a late edition. Decided to play this. This was fine. Obviously, like, a lot of the time I drew this when I got shifted. So I played against 4 Tempi. So, like, I was just getting shifted. I was like, D-Bell was just rotting in my hand. But the best part about this is when you start with it and you go wanted, pitch something random, like a Fufuros, your opponent just thinks you're on Snake Eye. So, yeah, it's correct to imperm the D-Bell. So they imperm the D-Bell, then you, like, activate Island or normal Iconics, normal Ponics, all this stuff. And then, oh, I'm not, when you send Barong, they realize this is not Snake Eye. So it's like you kind of use that to your advantage. You want to do this first in game 1, so they think that you're on something that you're not. So it's, you know, it's interesting. It's some mind games with it. Obviously, these cards are insane, so help me with my consistency. For some of the non-engine, we'll start with the hand traps. Shout out to Brian for letting me borrow. But these are fantastic. These Ash, this card is like God card in this deck because you get Mulch Army, like sometimes Perulia matters, so you'll Ash Perulia and you add it back. I got Phantasmade once, Ashed it. I got Phantasmade on Something Wolf, Ashed it, Anima, add back Ash, just Ash to get this turn. Reason to play a fire deck. This card was insane. I really think that after this event, this card is going to spike because this card is wild. Especially in this deck, it's like one of the best cards. It just does something that no other hand trap does. Just Solemn Warning from the hand. And this deck, the only monster in my deck that this matters for is this. I've never set this card. It's just always from hand. And if play against Mimigul, you know. And then last one's Imperm, obviously. This combo is insane too. So yeah, I just played 12 hand traps. I decided to do a couple more, but I feel like that's all I needed. This deck is really good at breaking boards, so as long as you just weaken it a little bit, you can usually push through. And to help with that, I was on 2 Eclipse. Eclipse was insane. I wish I played 3. Every time I drew this card, I basically like I broke a full Sprite board, broke a Yubel board with this, Memento, like it just going normal, like the Imperm, like Chain Eclipse, and then you can do like Ponic Search, you can like Island Pop, like all this sort of stuff you can still do, and it was really good. It also would burn Ash Blossoms. If I Eclipse their board, they Ash it, and I still have Island, and then I just start playing. So it's really, really, it was insane in this deck. And also like the play you do to OTK is you Eclipse their board, and then you summon the big guy, and it just destroys all their monsters, and then you just like can go for game in battle phase by using his effect. So it was crazy. I should have played 3. And then, you know, consistency and negate Sash. So yeah, so 42 is the name. For the extra, XYZs, we played Fucho. I think I made this once. Every time I got shifted, I also got hit by like 2 other hand traps, but so we never got to Fucho, like I think one time. But in theory, it's just Volcanics, destroy, make it level 1, add Ponics, add, and then just make Fucho and pass. Came up in testing, but it didn't really come up that much in the tournament. So could definitely cut it. Or you can just play Zeus. And this guy, this should have been another of this guy, I think. This card was insane. I think I only ever summoned it off Sanctuary like once or twice, because usually I didn't need the add interaction. But summoning this going second and just forcing interaction right there and then OTKing, like popping it with Kieran or popping it with Skyburn, hit the back row. It was really, really good. Like I should have played 2. Came up like once or a couple times, so I should have played 2. For the links, Anima was like 1, just for Ponics with something with either make Dark, SP, or Sunlight Wolf. Speaking of, some of the main ones here, obviously we can add Heat to the mix, and IP. So I don't believe I made IP once and cut this. Probably should have been, I don't know, like the second Heat actually came up a couple times, probably should have been that. But Dark was crazy for something back the shifters I was getting hit by. SP came out a couple times, obviously, because this deck destroys a lot. So if you need banish removal, it's pretty crazy. And Wolf is obviously it's a fire deck. We have back Ash, we have back Kieran, we have back all this stuff, Ponyx maybe. So it was pretty good. So I don't think I changed much. Maybe I cut the IP and played that Hita, but it was good. This was kind of last minute. I kind of felt like I was going to struggle again in matchups where I couldn't destroy things. So I put in Unicorn, especially as like an easy way to get to access. I think I summoned Unicorn once, and it was 2 mega access, which I also summoned once. So I guess it came up, but it's not 100% needed. This was crucial. 2 Princess, like 1 me games, because it's not that I summoned the second one, it's that people were just on Unicorn. So people with Unicorn look at my extra, go straight for Princess, and then see the second one. And they're like, oh, this doesn't matter, because I just played 2, which I think was correct. I think it happened 3 times where they tried to do that. So this is really good. Another reason why I think I should have played 2 of this, because they just managed that. But always having a Princess access was super strong in this deck. This is like custom for Fire King. It's crazy. Sets up so much interaction just on their turn. And as part of that M board Ambler Whale, this was my main M board piece. I'm not getting sphere moded because I only have 1 monster. Just out of that Princess negate with Kieran in hand. But it's just really, it's extremely versatile into many board breakers. So if they like, somebody's on Evenly, somebody's on Dark Ruler, like all these breakers don't do anything to Ambler Whale. Like he just sits there, and at some point in the turn, it's like a nesting doll. It just opens up into like 5 bodies that I pop in the next YCS. So this is like the M board piece for the deck. It's really nice. I played this, literally never used it. Literally every OTK I did was with this card. So like, or with Princess, make 327s and then end the game. Like I never felt like I needed this. You don't have to play it. But I like there's random decks where this will come up, and it is a really insane combo, obviously. So I kind of felt safer having it there as an option, but it never came up for some reason. All right, so we're going to the side deck. I'm not super proud of this. 2 Berulia. I don't know, man. There was the reason. Okay, I'll give you the reason. The reason I played 2 Berulia is I wanted to fit in Slop that goes in. So this is kind of like the 16th would have been the Berulia. I never drew it, so it never mattered. But Berulia's good. Probably should have played 3. Droll was awful. Scarf was terrible. I drew it once, and it didn't matter. I think I got Cold Bite. But there's just so many matchups. Like I played so many Tempai. It just never mattered. Like I don't think Droll was good enough. I don't know what I would have switched it for. Maybe. I don't know, Eclipses, maybe some more Breakers, something like that, like or different hand trap, maybe like DD Crow or Ogre, but it was alright. Never did this. Just additional flyers for Island. I played 2 Cosmic and I played the 3rd. So this was good. This was great. This maybe should have been in main. It's 2 Skyburn. But these cards, this deck thrives on just removal and dealing with stuff like this deck can have issues with Runic because of Hugin. So having the Cosmics there is really strong for that. So you need to be able to like just remove something by banishing. Again, that's like the weakness of the deck, so we kind of index into that a bit. Yeah, this card's crazy. This is like the God card against Tempai. Like you side it in, it doesn't matter what they choose. Like, cause some Tempai players will like, you go to game 3 and they go first and set in, like put in a bunch of floods. And it's like, all right, you go second into them. They can't bounce this with seals. So you just set it and you never die in the next turn. Like it's crucial. And it's good against other decks too. Like I set it in against Memento, I put it in against Yubel. Like these sort of decks that rely on fusion summoning. So it's pretty good. I would definitely play 3 again. And then, yeah. I drew this once and I won the game anyways, it didn't matter. I never drew this card. So it's pretty good. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm glad I played this deck. I probably like. I'll be honest. Like the Snake Eye cards are definitely a great addition to this deck, and you can play it. My meta call was just for Fuvaros, but I think I should do some more testing and see if the Snake Eye cards also work.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the profile. Congrats on day 2 again. Any shout outs?
Yeah, shout outs to everyone who lent me cards. Brian, Burr, Andrew, the guys 8-bit who were helping me with the deck. Shout outs to all the Newfoundlanders who came up for this event. It was good to see everybody again. And shout out to everyone in Toronto as well who came down.
Awesome. Thank you. Take care.